Like most large towns, LaPorte, Indiana does a parade every 4th of July, and that parade takes place on Lincoln Way, the main road in the town, and that road connects directly to the Indiana Avenue overpass, and so they close it. Since this overpass goes over the tracks and only has a sidewalk on one side, 4th of July is about the only time you can actually get decent footage from the top of it if you're a filmer. Yeah, you could go up there on any normal day, but the overpass is really shaky and I don't like doing that. In 2023 and 2024, I took advantage of this to get overhead shots of trains. But in 2025, I was in Altoona during the 4th of July. So in 2026, I was determined to get some good shots from the top of the bridge with my camcorder this time. On July 4th, 2026, just before the parade started, I began making my way up the overpass, and I was just too slow to catch Amtrak 40. It just had a normal Charger leader, so I wasn't too upset about it, although it would have been pretty cool to see Amtrak from on top of the bridge. Once I got to the top, I took this long panning shot showing what it looks like from up here. Looking east, you can see the depot, the westbound signals, and the small Mao yard, and looking west, you can see the Madison Street crossing, the hospital, and the curve. It wasn't too long before we eventually got a green eastbound signal, and I knew that something would be coming. When it finally did, though, it jump-scared me, so sadly I didn't have time to move across to the other side of the bridge before it came, which was a real shame too, because oh boy, this was a good one. It was NS16E, which is a train I've never seen before, and it had a Dash 9 Duo, the leading one being 9762, a partial whiteface. Now, I've seen this unit leading before, so I wasn't too disappointed, but I wish I could have gotten a proper shot of it from the other side. After that, the flyover happened. They always do this at the 4th of July for obvious reasons. Normally they have F-16s, and this year they did too, but I completely missed getting a video of it, oof. However, I did get a video of this small prop plane that was leading the way. Unfortunately, I couldn't read the registration, so I'm not sure what aircraft it is. Once the planes were gone, I saw another green eastbound signal, so I moved to the other side of the bridge in time for this funky NS-256. 8166, a Jiva with inverted number boards, was leading, and an unfortunate sign of things to come was trailing second in the form of a repainted ex-Southern Pacific AC-44. And near the end was an even bigger shock, a cut of auto racks. Normally, Norfolk Southern doesn't mix auto rack and intermodal trains. Usually they mix auto rack and manifest. Auto modals, like this, are more fitting of CN or CSX, so it's weird to see one here on Norfolk Southern. With no more trains for a while, I decided to take a look at the LaPorte maintenance facility. Here in this small gated-off area is supplies for about any minor maintenance work you can think of. LaPorte has a small Mao yard and a generally heavy presence of Mao trucks and other things like that to maintain the entire Chicago line, so having the parts on hand is helpful. It also serves as a dumping ground for disused and abandoned railroad crossings and other out-of-use railroad components, which is dumped here. After taking a look at that, the eastbound signal was still green, so I stayed on this side of the bridge, and eventually NS-34J came rounding the corner, with one of those C6Ms that I swear has its front white band slightly higher up than all the others. After that, there was a long gap in the train action, during which two things happened. One, the weather siren started blaring, and two, this!
What is going on down there? There's a car parked on the tracks. Oh, okay. No, what are you doing? What are you doing? Darwin Award. I do not want to watch a car get hit by a train. Thank you.
Eventually, I noticed that this set of points was changed, diverting trains from the eastbound track onto the westbound track. I was perplexed, but also a little excited, because if they bothered to change the switch, that must mean something was coming, right? And those suspicions were proved true when I looked down the tracks and saw NS41M. I was very glad to see this train, because grain trains are actually pretty rare on the NS-Chicago line. All of them, like 41M here, are as-needed movements, and, well, they aren't needed very often. As you would expect, the train was running on the eastbound track and then switched to the westbound track on the points for some reason. Once the head end passed, I walked to the other side of the bridge to get this absolutely mesmerizing shot of the grain cars switching tracks and going around the curve. I love this. So glad I was standing on the bridge for this. This wouldn't have been possible from the ground. After 41M, another bulk movement came right behind it westbound. It was NS881 with a BNSF Ace Duo. I love Aces in H3, so I was very glad to see this, not to mention it's getting rarer and rarer on this train. Since this was an empty and I knew the engine wouldn't be chugging that hard, I decided to get a shot directly above them as to not get blasted with diesel fumes, which worked actually. This unique vantage point allowed me to finally realize that there were actually bracing bars in the middle of coal hoppers. Had no idea these existed until this day. Now the parade was coming to an end, so I could only stay on the bridge for one more train. A train that turned out to be NS-29G, with an awesome all-DC lash-up including a Dash 9, and absolutely chugging. Once again, I crossed to the other side to get footage of them switching tracks. I still have no idea why all the westbounds were doing this on this day, so if anyone knows, please comment. I'd like to know the reason. A lot of people were really helpful on my 6706 and 1067 video, so if you have anything to contribute, please comment. Thank you. Overall, I certainly had a fun time shooting trains from this overpass, and I'll definitely be back next 4th of July to do it again. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to catch those units while you can, especially the ones you're literally looking down on, and I will see you in the next video.